Spurs fans, do you fear that the horror first half will end up handing Arsenal the title? And Gunners, were you more relieved that you were delighted after nearly capitulating to draw the game? We're also inviting Nottingham Forest fans and Manchester City fans on for a chat with myself and Pards this hour. After that game finished 2-0 to City, the title race is electric and the relegation battle is a little bit pathetic points-wise. It's not a good look. Got any views on today's games? Call us right now, 03717 223344, or send us a voice note on WhatsApp to the same number. This is the Final Word phone in here on talkSPORT. Just before we hear from Big Ange Postecoglou, here's today's results. In the Premier League, of course, Bournemouth beat Brighton 3-0 at the Vitality Stadium. Tottenham losing at home to Arsenal 3-2, and Nottingham Forest lost to Manchester City 2-0. In the WSL, Everton drew 1-1 with Arsenal. Tottenham 1-1 with Brighton. Aston Villa 1, West Ham 1, and Leicester 0, and Man United 1. And it's currently Bristol City 0, Manchester City 0.
And I just got to cut in there because I don't know if you heard that on the news, but the Crystal Palace ladies are in the top division. Well done, ladies.
In the WSL, well done to the Crystal Palace ladies there. We can now hear from Spurs manager Ange Postecoglou speaking after his side's 3-2 defeat to Arsenal.
We're obviously disappointed in terms of the outcome. It was a big game for us, big game for our fans, and we unfortunately gave ourselves a mountain to climb in that first period of the game, and disappointing outcome.
You mentioned you were unlucky not to get an equaliser. It looked like you had got an equaliser with the goal from Van der Ven. Have you had a chance to look closely at the VAR decision? Are you okay with that?
There's no point, mate. I've said all year, I don't think games get officiated at the stadiums anymore. It's why I don't celebrate goals. I wait for somebody down the road to tell me what the outcomes are, and unfortunately that's the way football's gone. So you just got to accept whatever decision somebody miles away from you makes.
It was a strange first half because actually you were probably the better team, and somehow you found yourself 3-0 down. It's difficult to take as a manager, I'd imagine.
No, not really, because it is explainable, because like I said, it's about the details, and Arsenal are very, very good. They're a good side now at focusing on those details, and we're not there yet. We're still, you need to, if you want to get from where we are to where we want to be, it's going to be about the details. It's going to be about the focus and every moment to understand that you can't give opportunities to opposition, quality opposition. And, look, our football in general was good, but, we let ourselves down by not being focused on the details.
You lost Timo Werner as well in the first half. What's the news on his injury?
I'm not really sure. He felt his hamstring, so we'll sort of get an update.
That was Spurs manager Ange Postecoglou speaking to talkSPORT's Alex Crook there. He mentions the details, Pards, and the fact that, those little details are what win football games, and Arsenal are just further along the road than where Spurs are right now, which is true.
Absolutely. And, as managers, that is something that you would definitely cover from Monday to Friday. The finer details of set plays, for example, the lack of delivery that you might have, it's not quite on the money. The opposition is bang on the money. The defending, your position, your body shape, all those little details come with confidence and winning games. It gets better and better and better, and likewise, when you get into a run where it's not happening, all that detail starts to fall away. Okay, you can keep possession, you can keep the ball, but from throw-ins, you're not set up properly, to stop them getting possession quickly. And all that tiny details, the difference between winning and losing.
Absolutely. Let's head over to a Spurs fan who joins us on the show. Jake joins us on the Final Word. Good evening, Jake.
What's happening, boys?
You just heard Ange Postecoglou there with his post-match discussion. What do you make of it, Jake?
Waffling. Absolute waffling. He just sounds so like... Sounds like he's been down ocean with you, man.
Go on.
He's just like... Do you not feel like Tottenham ain't had a game in 2 weeks? They look like they've all been down, like I said, on the sauce, they have.
The sauce.
I don't, in terms of the way that we set up again, it's been a recurring theme, isn't it, with the high line that you will get punished by these better teams, and today Arsenal punished us. And he's talking about the finer details, like giving away corners the way that we did so cheaply for that first goal, and then the set-piece defending was awful. But you're not a fan of Ange, are you, Jake?
I just think it's criminal to lose that game today. Absolute criminal. And you know what's going to happen? Spursy of all Spursies is we go and beat Man City second last game of the season.
Pards has already said that.
It's going to happen. It's written in the stars. I'm telling you.
We'll
lose every game up until then. We'll lose every game up until then, and we'll turn up as we do against Man City, and we'll do the business, and then we'll gift wrap it to Arsenal. And it just feels like it's another conversation. I think I've run up about 8 years on the trot. Ben Davis making another mistake.
That goal for Saka with the defending from Ben wasn't great, was it?
Oh, it's just same. But again, that's just Tottenham. Why he shouldn't even be in near this team.
Unfortunately, this is all part of the football club, and again, I suppose the process, Jake, because Ange is just coming into his first season. A lot of players there. Madge, I don't mean to interrupt you. When managers say about processes and all that, football's easy game. It's just I think they overcomplicate things. If one angle's not working, try another one. Tottenham are so easy to work it out. We was champions in October. We've been worked out. We ain't played well in ages. We got thumped 4-0 the other day.
You was top of the league. You weren't champions, by the way.
Yeah, exactly.
I think Jake was being ironic there. Big up to Jake.
The champions of October.
Yeah, that's what people were calling us, and that was the banter at the time.
I see. Okay.
I just think he says about football's easy. And the managers going about stuff being a process. You've been at football clubs. You've come in and taken over. Yeah,
but for Ange, one of the issues I'm trying to say to you about the details is he'd have learned so much about individual players, and he would make his own assumptions. And usually at the end of the summer, or as you get towards the summer, you sit down with your scouting team and say, I need this, I need that, because there's not been enough consistency in that particular position. So he's got all that and that is the process. So and then in the Christmas of next year, there'll be another part of that process where you bring a player in or lose a player, and it's until you get it right. Like Arsenal have got it very right in terms of their signings. And I looked at Palace yesterday. Palace were in big trouble, in that particular window, the last window. They've gone out and bought 2 great players. And it's changed their season somewhat. Wharton has come in. He looks like a world beater from Blackburn.
Really does.
Yeah, he's been terrific.
Let's head over to Rishi. He's an Arsenal fan. He was at the game today. Good evening, Rishi.
Hello, chaps. How are we?
Yeah, not so bad. You're probably trying to get home from the game. How long it took me to get out of the stadium today, Rishi?
Yeah, mate, getting out of that place is an absolute nightmare. Last season, this season, but it makes it all worthwhile.
I'm sure it does.
When the mayor give permission for that stadium to be built, you'd think it'd put some infrastructure in place or have some sort of game plan, wouldn't you? But it's still the same. Yeah,
it's a nightmare. But I just wanted to say, we didn't even get out of second gear out today.
But Rishi, do you think that's because of the way that Spurs were set up that you didn't need to get out of second gear? And I think this is the criticism of Big Ange, because it was like, okay, cool, we're happy to bank up against you and hit you on the break if that's how you want to play.
Yeah, Spurs passed the ball side to side.
Yep.
They tried to get down the side. They couldn't get through the middle.
Completely.
Saliba, Gabriel closed the gap.
They had their slippers on first half, those two. Slippers on and the pipe.
Uggs.
They were chilled. They were doing nothing. It was so easy for them.
I'll tell you what, if we're still there now, Spurs still be pumping balls into the box and Ray will be catching them. That's what's happening.
I'll tell you what, though, Raya could, apart from that little dodgy moment with the goal for Romero, he was brilliant in the air, though. He could teach Vicario a thing or two about coming and collect a ball.
Yeah, after he made that, and it was a terrible mistake. But until then, Spurs didn't look like scoring. They didn't look like scoring. The only way they would have scored or equalised or come close to an equaliser is through an Arsenal mistake. There's no way they would.
Well, we did score. VAR chalked it off.
Yeah, that's because we pushed up, mate.
But the goalie situation, he's going to make errors like that. They all make them. Alisson makes them. Neuer makes them at Man United. If you're going to bring a goalie in to play out and to be comfortable in possession and pass around your 18-yard box, which a lot of teams do now, even Fulham and Palace do it to a degree, not to the levels of Man City, obviously, and Liverpool. and Arsenal to as well. You've got to have a goalie who's going to take risks and got to be comfortable, and they're going to make them big mistakes. Unfortunately, that mistake today could have been costly, but it got away a bit. It'd have been very relieved, and Arteta was very relieved. Give him a big hug at the end, and you noticed that. That was like, oh, we got away with that one.
Rishi, quickly, the thing is, you won today, but Spurs ain't really the problem, are they? It's Manchester City. Do you think they're going to slip up?
Majestic. You know what's going to happen. You lot will beat them for us, and you'll finish 5th.
No, I heard Dane Scarlett's up top on his own against Manchester City at home. All the kids are out.
All we've got to do is win our 3 games, and you never know what's going to happen.
Well, as Martin Keown said on Friday, you can't rely on Spurs. If you remember '99 when we was at Old Trafford, when we went 1-0 up, and then all of a sudden, second half, we was awful.
You got City's number?
Well, I don't know. I think everyone's got Big Ange's number, plus his fax teller machine and his email address. 03717 223344. Tottenham's next game is live and exclusive on talkSPORT as they head to another of their great rivals, Chelsea, on Thursday night. And they've got some pace, haven't they? As is Arsenal's next Saturday lunchtime at home to Bournemouth. Wow, that's going to be an interesting game. Bournemouth are flying. Absolutely.
Again, they're in the highest position they've ever been in the league. They've got a confident team, got great young players playing well. New manager getting all the plaudits. Yeah, that'll be a tough one.
Both of those are going to be live on talkSPORT, and Nottingham Forest and Manchester City fans. We want plaudits now. 03717 223344.
On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app, and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.